Thank you, Ralph. And both teams have won third place in the high school hockey tournament in 1970, the only meeting between the two schools. Hibbing won over St. Paul Johnson 4-1. Let's go downstairs now for the introduction of today's starting lineups.
Hibbing, the home team. And now let's meet the entire roster of both of these teams in this third place game. First, let's meet the champions of Section 4, the visitors, the St. Paul Johnson Governors. Number 1, goalie Tim DeRose. Number 2, defenseman Jeff Potter. Number 3, defenseman Todd Bardison. Number 4, defenseman Don Berthium. Number 6, defenseman Steve Gaylor. Number 7, playing center this afternoon, Rick Larson. Number 8, wing Bill Fish. Number 9, wing Tom Wallach. Number 10, center Jim Howe. Number 11, center Greg Olander. Number 12, wing Dewey Wallen. Number 14, wing Chris Boxmeyer. Number 15, center Jim Shermack. Number 17, defenseman Paul Petrus. Number 18, wing Tom Fox. Number 19, wing Mitch Converse. Number 21, wing Tom Leibel. Number 22, wing Herb Harvey. Number 23, playing defense this afternoon, Pat Barrett. And number 35, goalie Dave Dembowski. The St. Paul Johnson head coach is Rod Magnuson. And now let's meet the champions of Section 7, the home team, the Hibbing Blue Jackets. Wearing this afternoon number 0, goalie John Hyduk. Number 2, defenseman Tom Hansen. Number 3, center Antonio Catani. Number 4, center Pat Iozzo. Number 5, defenseman Mike Vidmar. Number 6, wing John Zezel. Number 7, wing Nick Andrikin. Number 8, wing Jeff Clauju. Number 9, wing Pat Gozich. Number 10, defenseman Richie Bryant. Number 11, defenseman Sean Gostad. Number 12, defenseman Jerry Kristoff. Number 13, wing Bo Nikoloff. Number 14, wing Pat Marolt. Number 15, center Kelly Esty. Another change of persons, rather, for number 16. Wearing that number this afternoon will be Paul Girardi, spelled G-H-E-R-A-R-D-I. G-H-E-R-A-R-D-I. Number 16, Paul Girardi. Number 17, wing Mike Grillo. Number 18, center Mark Kasner. Number 19, wing John Schwartz. Number 30, goalie Tim O'Hara. And the Hibbing hockey coach, Bill Olson. The officials for this afternoon's game are Greg Shepard and Richard Lick. The starting lineups for Johnson and goal number
Doug,
1.
as far as St. Paul Johnson is concerned, they lost a very emotional game late last night. But young people are resilient, and they're battling for third place in a state tournament. They could win it for the 4th time. Meanwhile, Hibbing had been ranked number 1 at AP and UPI throughout much of the year. They've only lost 2 games out of 22 2-1 record. That's very impressive. I wouldn't think you'd have any problems getting these teams motivated here today.
Well, both of them, without any disrespect for lunch bucket people, they certainly are lunch bucket types. They'll come to work. They'll play very hard. I think the interesting part of this game, Paul, becomes both of them move, interchange lanes. I was really impressed with Johnson last night. Even though they lost, they made really nice plays coming into the zone at the offensive zone. Hibbing has the same capacities with a couple of lines that move. So I think it's going to be a fine game. And I like the consolation when it just preceded this particular game. It was exciting. People were playing. It's their last time out. I think we'll find it to be a real entertaining game with lots of passing, lots of moving.
And DeRose will be in goal for St. Paul Johnson, and Hyduke will be the goaltender for the Hibbing Blue Jackets.
They announced that Rick Larson's going to play center. And I'm just going to take a flyer here. He's an outstanding forward. He's converted back so he can help his team. I'll bet you Rod Magnuson, the type of guy he is going to let him play up front so the scouts can see him so he can play in his natural position.
So we're set to go at center ice, and it should be a dandy matchup. That is Iozo and Olander in the face-off circle, and the draw comes back to Gaylor. Angling it around the boards, going to Berthium, trying to clear the zone. Iozo holding it in. Iozo back in behind the net as Andrican right out in front. And moving it in, a shot knocked down, and it's deflected wide of the cage. Hanson fired to win in behind the net to Iozo. And now it's St. Paul Johnson clearing it out of their own zone. The lead pass is deflected back. Coming over to pick it up is Berthium. Berthium at center ice. Leibel chasing it down to the corner with Hanson. And Leibel took it away right out in front. Wallen with a backhander to goal. Dewey Wallen getting his 54th goal of the year and second to the tournament. And it's 1-0 St. Paul Johnson.
Oh, who else, right? See Dewey Wallen putting the backhander in. Then it might have been Leibel made the play down underneath. See it? There he is, Tommy Leibel, the workhorse. Here comes Wallens. Shuffle the backhand in. But Tommy Leibel is really a story by himself. He plays both ends of the rink. There he fights with this puck here. Takes the man out. You see the shot go in. I like Tommy Leibel. I made that in the first game, the comment.
So we have an early score right there as the 54th goal of the year.
Oh, he's a great kid, too.
Isn't that amazing? And the assists go to his line mates.
Tommy Leibel gets one for sure.
Leibel, I guess, is going to get the only assist on that goal right now. And it's set up as St. Paul Johnson has taken an early lead, and they go back to regroup in their own zone. And Fox is out with his line mates of Howe and Fish now. Hibbing trailing 1-0, 22 2-1 in the year. And it's set up now along the boards, trying to turn and angle it around to the far side. Goes over to Barrett. Barrett losing control of the puck, trying to hold his zone. As Hibbing trying to hold his zone, but it's broken out and played in over the blue line. And back going Bryant over to pick it up, tried to wrist it out of the zone. Held it at the point, played down to the corner. And picking it up, taking a shot was Fox in that, or pardon me, Fish steered down to the corner of the far side. 13:33 remaining. As it's cleared by Kristoff, held in by Barrett at the point. Knocked down, here's Katani in a 2-on-1 situation. Katani in over the blue line. Katani had it hooked, checked away. Had a good job defensively there by Petrus.
Boy saved the goal scoring opportunity with a nice defensive play.
And we have 13:12 remaining here in the first period, 1-0. Got it set up now, trying to bring it out is Fish, angling it on the far boards. The return to Howe, who has 3 goals in this tournament, flipping it in behind Hajduk, who gives it off quickly to Vidmar. Vidmar cross ice on the pass to Gosted, to center ice now in the neutral zone. Hibbing down by a goal, playing it in over the blue line, and Hajduk will knock it down. Hajduk around off on the pass. Bardison quickly on the near boards. Over to Potter, trying to bring it out of the zone, and circling with it is Shermack. Number 15, Shermack goes down, but he got it to Boxmeyer, who quickly hands it off to Bardison, and he'll play it to the blue line. 1-0 the score here in the third-place game, and it's put away, and whistle and play will be stopped. And there's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Hajduk in goal for the Hibbing Blue Jackets. The face-off to his left side, and trying to hold the zone now. The puck comes loose along the near boards, and moving it up ice, here's Andrikin. Andrikin with it, coming in over the blue line, backhanding it down to the corner as DeRose looks out for St. Paul Johnson. And it's flipped around the boards as Larson tried to clear it. And he gets a lead pass, moving it up ice. Wallach tried to catch up with it. Played back in over the line, and an offside will be called there.
The fourth line there. We have Larson centering that line with Tommy Wallach and Schwartz. It looks like Rod Manx is going to try 4, keep him a little fresh. Try some new defensemen. Potter played the last shift along with Pat Baird, who played this shift before that. So he's going to use all his personnel, try to keep them fresh until the game gets maybe a little tighter later on in the game.
And it's set up, and it's a 1-0 game now with 11:57 remaining in the first period. As Bryant goes back for Hibbing. Bryant tried to clear it. Bryant back along the wing on the pass. It goes to, we have a substitution player, Girardi, and he will wear number 16. Girardi, number 16 for Hibbing. And it's cleared to the point of the left side to Berthium holding it in. Berthium with the puck trying to move it into the slot. Berthium had it deflected off the skate. Down to the corner now, and it's controlled. Trying to bring it out is Girardi. And the puck is loose at center ice. And coming back in the neutral zone, I'm going to pick it up. And the play ahead going off the stick. And Gazic had it there and lost it. We have 11:15 remaining here in the first period. And Berthium with the puck, backhanding it in over the blue line. It's broken up by Bryant. Bryant found an opening, and he played it up the ice. Coming off the board, putting it in. Oh, right out in front. As it was centered from Gazic, and the man in the crease was behind Dembowski there, and the play stopped as DeRose was out of position there.
Well, in the line shift, Gaylor was just coming on, the big sophomore defenseman. So there's a big gap. Here we see it, right in behind, just missed the puck. Johnson got caught in a line shift, actually a defensive shift there, so they were weak on the left side where the play actually was finishing off.
And it's set up along the boards, coming up ice with it now as the Blue Jackets hold it in. Andrikin behind the net, going around over to Peralta in the slot. It was cleared by Olander. 1-0 the score on the goal by Dewey Wallen, played up ice. And moving it up ice is Olander on the lead pass. Leibel and Olander move it in, and the centering pass to Olander just doesn't quite connect. And now Hibbing will move it back the other way. Andrikin trying to pick it up. And striding back goes Barrett. We have a whistle, and an icing is called.
See Leibel making the good play to Olander there. If Olander would have turned himself around.
And the score is 1-0. This is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center. Bardison over the shot. It was blocked, and moving it up ice now, coming in over the line. And the man in the slot shot. Oh, it hit the side of the net and went behind the cage. As it's set up, Zezel and Katani working the wing on the near side, going around the boards. And over to pick it up now, trying to bring it out is Potter along the boards. And we have a 1-0 game as Katani waiting in Zezel behind the net. It goes around over to Grillo. There's a good line, Doug.
Yes, a very good line. Work well together.
And St. Paul Johnson setting it up in their own zone. With it is Bardison. Bardison backhanding it on the lead. It goes to Fish. Fish trying to go cross ice. That's knocked out in a 1-0 game. Whistle and play will be stopped at the blue line.
One thing that happens when you juggle that many players, you don't quite have the flow of the game that you normally have. There's some new defensemen, Larson playing up front, and you're switching differently too. The same players you've been accustomed to substituting for aren't in the lineup. There is a little hesitation right now on Johnson's part.
And incidentally, Wallen's goal at 38 seconds was the fastest so far in the tournament this year. And we've had our first overtime, and Roseau winning at 9-8 over Burnsville for the consolation championship.
I think Hibbing has taken the play, even though the score is in Johnson's favor at this point. They've had the better of the opportunities overall.
And the draw comes back in the Blue Jackets zone, and going back is Gaustad. Gaustad now will lead it out as St. Paul Johnson tries to hold it in. Back on the near wing, setting it up at center ice, and whistle and play will be stopped again with 9:27 remaining here in the first period.
Referee Richard Lick had that offside, accurately called. So far the game hasn't gone up and down quite as rapidly as the previous game, but look for it to improve.
Just outside the blue line, we'll have the face-off, and it's played and deflected down to the corner in a 1-0 game. Berthew with it on the near boards, trying to get help to bring it out of the zone. And it's picked up at center ice. With it now is Shermack. Off of the lead pass to Harvey and over the line, trying to skate past Vidmar. Harvey in the corner as Hibbing sets it up to regroup to try and bring it out. And it's a 1-0 game with 9:05 remaining at center ice. And the puck is loose. Coming over is Kasner trying to control. Overskated the puck, and it's played back in the zone of the Blue Jackets of Hibbing. And right there is Mike Vidmar. Vidmar with it now, stick handling. He'll bring it out on the pass to the far wing. And it's flipped down to the left side of DeRose as he looks out in a 1-0 game. And moving it up ice.
Too many guys in the ring. Hibbing's got 6. They got 7 guys in the ring, Hibbing.
And they do, Doc. And coming in over the blue line, and I think they finally seen it there. Anderkin, or did they just whistle an offside? There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Watch the line. Well, actually, Hibbing got away kind of cheaply there. They had 7 players on the rink.
And they didn't call the penalty, huh?
Didn't see it.
Okay, coming in over the blue line, Anderkin and Marolt as St. Paul Johnson down only by a goal here, and coming back over to pick it up, flipping it around the boards. They try to go off on the pass to Converse with help now as Larson tried to bring it out, Hibbing holding it in. And it's cleared from the slot area in this 1-0 game. That is Converse taken away by Marolt to the blue line, whistle, and play will be stopped.
You know, a play like that, there's so many players on the rink, but it just looks different when you add 1 more or 2 more. Something's wrong, and you can pick it up rather quickly when you're up here on top. I mean, you can't count that fast, but something's wrong out there. Then you start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the 7th guy, but they didn't see it.
And we'll have the face-off just outside the blue line. We should mention, too, that the load goal of the game by Dewey Wallen was his 90th point of the year. And it's set up, that's a career for some people, Doug.
Yeah, for sure.
Christoph back in his own zone, had it taken away by Dewey Wallen, who we were just talking about. As now the Hibbing Blue Jackets set it up to bring it out of their own zone. This is Iozzo. Iozzo 3 points in the tournament is stopped at the blue line by Potter, trying to get some help, and Olander backhanding it out to center ice.
You know, with the number of goals and points that young Wallen has, you got to credit the other Olander and Leibel also for a great season.
And Olander has 47 points of the year. Leibel has 59. And that is Olander with a puck. Look out. Here's Dewey Wallen on a break. He can turn it on, and he did. Shot and a goal. His 55th of the year, his 3rd of the tournament, and 2nd of the day. And it's 2-0.
That's Johnson. We were just talking about the contribution of the other players. Olander sees Dewey on the far side. Beautiful pass. Wallen times it perfectly. Walks in. Watch a nice deke. He holds him with the dip. Pulls it across. Beautiful goal. He's got 2 of the nicest ones in the tournament so far. Here's Olander's great pass. Wallen times it. Stays on the wide side. Approaches the goaltender. Head up. Dips the shoulder. Puts it in. One more shot. Watch his right shoulder. He'll put a little dip in there. Holds that goaltender. That's Johnson's hockey. They They wait for the big break. They move the puck. They play to get the good fast break.
So it's a 2-0 game now, and Dooley Wallen has both of the goals, and coming back over is Nikolov. Nikolov with it to Antonio Catani. Up ice, Antonio Catani had it poke check from his stick. And in the neutral zone, it's played over the stick of Howe. Howe had it taken away by Antonio Catani. Catani and Howe at center ice, played back now to the left side of DeRose as he looks out, wristing it around the near boards. Well, it is Fish tried to backhand and the clearing pass to Berthiaume on the wing to Fox, and Fox picking it up with help. And it's played down to the corner. Going back over is Nikolov. Whistle, and play will be stopped. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Six minutes and 34 seconds remaining here in the first period. And Doug, we've had our first penalty of the game called, and it goes against Bryant of Hibbing. So the man advantage now for St. Paul Johnson, and clearing it is Andrikin on the lead to Iozzo, and he'll backhand it down to the corner on the far boards. Going back is Gaylor, and Iozzo trying to clear the zone, and it played by Hansen, backing up the line. Whistle and play will be stopped on the offside call.
Johnson's not had a prolific power play in this tournament. I think one of the difficulties, they could use a quarterbacking defenseman who could lead the puck up the rink. They get a little disjointed, don't come up together, and have a little problem. But we'll see. They might break it loose today.
In a 2-0 game, 1:40 remaining on the penalty time. And Howe with the puck. Howe now working with the man advantage for St. Paul Johnson. The Governors leading it by a score of 2-0. St. Paul Johnson is 1 of 9 on the power play, and whistle and play is stopped at the blue line of Hibbing.
Greg Shepard, referee, was right on that one. Good call. It'd be nice if Johnson could come back and come up the rink together. The other forwards are out so far, they're standing. To make the long pass to him, the defenseman can just stand up, take him one-on-one. They should be coming up more together.
And puck comes back to the blue line. Over to set it up with it is Larson. Larson now circling. He can play defense. He can play forward. That is Harvey get over the blue line. Harvey moving it in. And Harvey with a backhander was knocked down and cleared to the boards on the near side.
Larson will lead it. He's the boy who's playing both ways today. He'll be their quarterback now on this particular power play.
And that is Larson, number 7, with the puck, moving past Iozzo. Larson up ice. On his left, he's got Fish. Taken away by Andrikin, and he played it back over the blue line of St. Paul Johnson.
You know, Larson's father is a goal judge in the tournament. I think his uncle Franson is in the penalty box, so he can't really win any place in the rink here.
Antonio Catani tried to go to the slot area, intended for Zezel, but it's cleared back up ice. 35 seconds remaining at a bad advantage, and it's St. Paul Johnson leading it 2-0. And along the far boards, it's Vidmar with it, turning, trying to bring it out. St. Paul Johnson will hold the zone. They still have the power play with 24 seconds. They have Howe in the slot. They go out in front, up on top on left, and they go to Howe. Behind the net now, and it's set up, and it's played around the boards by Vidmar. In the corner, Vidmar throwing a check along the boards, is trying to work it loose as Fish, and it was cleared out of the zone.
Tommy Howe didn't get down in the corner fast enough to help his forward. Should have doubled on the puck down. They have to get possession of the puck in the offensive zone.
Pardon me, Doug. Bryant is back onto the ice. Both teams at full strength in a 2-0 game. Moving up ice, here's Leibel coming in over the blue line for Wallen, tipped it wide. Wallen in the corner, back to the point of the pass over to Bartison. And Hibbing setting it up now as they come back. And moving it over the blue line, the pass to Vidmar, to Catani, and back to Zezel, and it doesn't work on the passing combination. And it's played along the boards, 2-0 the score. St. Paul Johnson out in front here, whistle, and play will be stopped. With the score 2-0, this is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
We have a power play. Dooley Walling an interference call. Look for Hibbing to move the puck. Might do some picking. Might do some rotation down in the corners. They've got a good variety power play.
And it comes back to the point on the left side over to Hansen. Hansen just inside the blue line of the pass over to Marold. Back to Hansen. Hansen working it cross ice, moving it, trying to go to the high slot. It's deflected to Kristoff. Kristoff working the wing down to the corner. Hibbing is down 2-0 here. And it's set up on the far boards. Iozzo with the puck to Kristoff. Kristoff back over to Iozzo, taking aim, shot it wide.
They're picking with the defenseman. See him come in there, Kristoff?
That's Hansen. Iozzo back in the corner with Andrikin. And they have Marolt in the slot. And it's played right out in front. Marolt is there. And Iozzo in the slot. The puck is loose and it is cleared. There's heavy traffic in front of DeRose. Hansen holding it in to Iozzo on the wing. Back over to Andrikin. Right out in front. DeRose shot, save, knocked down, and it's rejected. Back to the point. To Hansen. To Kristoff. Right out in front. Iozzo with a shot. Whistle and
in the crease, I believe. I think you have Andrikin was standing in the crease. Nice power play. Good movement of the puck. Nice picks. Cross rink passes. Excellent execution. Just couldn't quite get the handle on to put it in the net. A little different if you notice the defenseman, they moved it across. As Hansen moved it over to Kristoff, he would slide in. Meaning Hansen would slide in. Kristoff would come back towards the Hansen side. They'd have a pick. And then they'd either shoot the puck or go down low with it.
So we have 1:01 remaining here now on the power play situation. 2:05 remaining in the period. And it's played out of the zone with 53 seconds remaining now on the man advantage. And coming up quickly up ice is Zezel. Here's Zezel at center ice to the blue line, coming in over the line, trying to go around Barrett. Zezel toward the net, right out in front, shot, and DeRose with a big save.
Beautiful save. Pad save.
And Antonio Catani trying to pick up the return pass, trying to backhand it out of the zone. It was cleared by Gaylor on the lead to Harvey. He's chased by Bryant. And it was set up, and Antonio Catani with the puck for Hibbing. Angle to get off the near boards. It goes to Grillo. It's broken up, and it's played back on the far side to Bryant.
DeRose has been spectacular. Made about 4 big saves.
This is Bryant. Bryant moving it in, and he overskated, and he lost control of the puck, and Gaylor clears it out of the zone.
I think it's safe to say DeRose killed that penalty.
There is Nikolov angling it off the sideboards. Gaylor knocked it down. Goes around over to Grillo. Grillo to Catani. Catani's pass off, coming in over the blue line. A shot by Nikolov. Zezel on the wing, trying to hold the zone to Catani, just outside the blue line. Got it center ice, picked up. Here's Dewey Wallen in over the line. Drive! And the save by Haidu.
Dewey's had 3 good opportunities. Scored on 2. And then there he had a good slap shot. Got a good blast off. Good save by Haidu. I liked DeRose's play. He really held firm. There was a lot of action around his net. I also really appreciated the types of things that Hibbing was trying to do on their power play. If we get a chance next time, we'll see the picking and the cross lane passing.
And 50 seconds remaining here in the first period. Olander in the face-off circle. Right behind him is Dewey Wallen. Doug, you think he might draw it straight back if he could?
You'd like to.
Yeah, because Wallen was right there. It goes to the point. It's played around the boards, and Olander tried to go to the slot. It's cleared by the Hibbing Blue Jackets, and moving it up ice now. That is Kasner. Get over the line, tied to go to Claudio. Working the wing, and now it's brought out by Bartison.
The speed of the Hibbing forwards is causing Johnson defenseman fits.
And whistle and play will be stopped at the blue line with only 29 seconds remaining in the first period. It is 2-0 St. Paul Johnson out in front. They have a goal by Dewey Wallen at 38 seconds. And another one by Dewey Wallen at 7:46.
These are the kind of periods as a coach that say, geez, we had a pretty good period, but we gave up 2 goals down 2-0. Really, the storming has been at the Johnson net. Johnson has been opportunist. Dewey Wallen having a couple great plays.
St. Paul Johnson playing out of the St. Paul City Conference, and the Iron Range Conference representative is the Hibbing Blue Jackets. And Antonio Catani, Andrikin in the slot, around with Marolt and Iozzo, back to the point, and centered toward the net, and moving it right out in front. Andrikin backhanding it in on DeRose.
Oh, it's another action. DeRose held firm again. There was lots of action there. Dropped the stick. Berthum lost the stick. So they were really undermanned at that point, but DeRose held firm.
16 seconds remaining in the first period.
And it's been really kind of dominant, as we said, by Hibbing, except for the score. Never know, though. You can explode second period, 3-4 goals. Johnson can come back, get a little more rhythm to their game. But the play has been Hibbing's play so far this first period.
Yeah, and Hibbing has lost only 2 games this year, to Edina 5-1 and to Virginia. And it's Iozo back to the point, trying to go to Nikoloff, take it away. And Dewey Wallen is upended at the blue line. No penalty called against Bryant, or did they get it, Doug?
Yeah, they have it. That's the threat of Dewey. As soon as they looked like they had possession, he took off. It put Bryant in a bad spot. He had to trip him. But it's
a little late there on the whistle, but yet they called the play.
Well, he had a delay on the far side there, Mr. Lick did, referee Lick. But they scare you to death, the speed that they have. Tough to play defense. You're in that zone, you're playing hard, and all of a sudden they spring that guy, and you're standing flat-footed. Richie Bryant.
Bryant will go in. 14:57 the time of the penalty. And the face-off will come up to the left side of John Hyduke.
I think Rod Magnuson will use a wise decision here. Going to pull his tender and try to block with an extra forward. I believe it takes at least 4 seconds to get the puck down the other end.
Well, there's 3 left. It would have to be a shot that would almost have to come directly off the face-off and be at good velocity, wouldn't it?
That's right. I think 4 seconds is a danger, but 3 is pretty safe.
And the face-off now to the left side of Hyduke. And Olander drawing it forward. Iozo played it on the wing, and we have come to the end of the first period of play. And after that period of time, 2 goals by Dewey Wallen, and St. Paul Johnson leads the Governors 2-0.
It has been an opportunist period for the Governors. Dewey Wallen's popped a couple nice passes also. Olander has set him in for the second goal. Nice dekes, but Hibbing has played well. They just have the misfortune of finding a tough goaltender in DeRose. Puck hasn't bounced around the net for them the way they would like, but I'm sure they won't quit. They've got a good scoring operation, and they'll come back and get some goals in the second, third period, I'm sure.
Yeah, now let's go down to sports control to Ralph John Fritz and Mark Rosen. Gentlemen.
Very reminiscent, I think, of the Hill Murray-Burnsville game yesterday. Hill Murray led 2-0 after one period, but was Hill Murray outplayed by Burnsville, and Burnsville come on to win it 4-2. We'll see what happens in the second period here, Corey.
I've had a chance to watch Hibbing a couple times, Ralph, and both times very impressed with their play operation on the ice. They really have a feel for what they want to do. They have trouble finishing around the net at times. Perhaps they got a little bit too cute. Instead of shooting the puck, they were trying to make the perfect play, but I'm sure they'll keep putting on the pressure as we go on to the second period. Tom Hanneman is ringside with the head coach of the Minnesota Gophers. Tom?
That's right, Mark. Brad Buell. Of course, this is recruiting time, and Brad is always at the state high school hockey tournament looking around. There are so many individuals at this tournament that have been impressive. Can you mention a few of them? I know you're concerned about passing over.
Well, I think it's certainly a great tournament. I hate to mention a few that I might miss some. Just been some great kids. It's only unfortunate we only have a couple of scholarships, and we'd like to get some more kids. There's some great hockey players out there, and we're talking to some young men that we will be talking to in the next week or so. We like to wait until after the tournament. That's our policy. We don't like to distract the young man or the coaches, and respect to their job, and that's why we'll be talking to them in the next week or so.
Well, let me ask you then about, to begin with, Paul Broughton. Your thoughts about him?
Well, Paul's really a unique person. We'd certainly like to have Paul. He's a very fine athlete, very fine person, a great family. And we had great success with Aaron and Neil, and we'll certainly be talking to Paul.
Any indications, any thoughts in your heart whether or not he would like to become a Gopher?
Well, we haven't talked to him really in length. Again, we're waiting until things die down here. We didn't want to distract from them. They won a fine consolation championship along with a few other men and some people that aren't in the state tournament. There's some quality people that did not make the state tournament, but it's really fun being here. And the bottom line is that kids get scholarships and get a chance to go to school, and whether it be in Minnesota or many of the other fine schools.
Brad Buto, thanks so much. Back to sports control.
Well, Tom, I'm sure Brad Buto would just soon be at Williams Arena this afternoon playing the WCHA championship. Before we go on, we'd like to offer our congratulations to a gentleman who has been with WCCO Television for 32 years, a senior technician, Hugh Murray, who will be retiring at the end of April. And Hugh, it's been a pleasure. There you are, way upstairs. Hugh, it's been a pleasure working with you, and I think I can speak for all your fellow co-workers here at WCCO to wish you the best of luck, Hugh. You deserve it. Hugh Murray of WCCO.
How many years? 32?
32 years. That's how old I am, Ralph.
Well, I didn't know Hugh was that old.
He's a youngster, retiring young. This is Hockey 84. Continuing coverage of the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. St. Paul Johnson leading Hibbing by the score of 2-0 in the battle for third place here at the State High School Hockey Tournament. They are after one period of play, and it was the Dewey Wallen show in the first period, Ralph.
Well, it was when Hibbing wasn't applying the pressure, Mark. Dewey got the first one here. He's number 12 for St. Paul Johnson. 90th point, 54th goal. Made it 1-0 early in the game at 38 seconds.
No chance for John Hyduke there.
No chance whatsoever. The second goal also scored. Well, let's take one more look at that first goal. It's a pretty one. 38 seconds, as you said. 1-0 for St. Paul Johnson. The second one was on the fast break. The long pass. Dewey Wallen is right there, and that's the type of play that Johnson has gone with all year long. They look for that fast break. Nice deke there, and then his 55th goal to make it 2-0 for the Johnson Governors. They are explosive. They average 8.2 goals per game. And Dewey Wallen, as we said, had 50 earlier this year. Now, of course, he's up to 55 and 90 points on the year.
And Ralph, that's the beauty of not having to play with the red line in high school hockey. They get those long passes, get the fast break pass, so to speak, and it provides a lot of exciting plays.
It's a much more wide open game. The fans love it. I know I like it.
It's a great game. Well, I don't know if we're going to have a repeat of that 9-8 game from the first game, but again, I think Hibbing has proven that they are an explosive team. I don't think Johnson will shut them out, although Tim DeRose is something else to watch in goal for Johnson. At 5'4", we saw what he could do against Hill Murray the other night.
Well, we talk about the explosiveness of St. Paul Johnson. Hibbing averages 8 goals plus per game, so they also can score.
Live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing action of the St. Paul State High School Hockey Tournament.
Well, we're back at the St. Paul Civic Center, and earlier, Mark, a very controversial goal that ended the consolation championship. Rosa won it in overtime, 9-8. Sean Busey scored that goal, and a lot of people are still buzzing about it here. Was it knocked in by the glove of Busey or not? Well, Tom Hanneman of our staff spoke with Busey after the game.
Okay, let's, to begin with, clear up the controversy that surrounded the game-winning goal for Rosa. What happened?
Well, we were just started changing lines, and the puck was laying in center ice, and Tom Peterson picked it up. And we went in 3-on-2, me and Tom and Lyle Dahlgren. And Tom passed it over to Lyle, and he took the shot. And the puck went up high and hit me in the chest and came down. And then I think they were complaining that the posts are off, but one of the other players pushed me from behind, and I was the one that knocked the post off, so the puck was in before that.
There was also a question whether or not the puck was batted in.
No, it happened fast, but when Lyle shot it, I jumped back kind of because, you know, the puck was coming up high towards me, and it hit me in the chest and just rolled down into the net. So there was no doubt about it that it was a good goal. It was a garbage goal, but it went in.
Sean Busey of Winning Roseau. They win at 9-8 in overtime. We spoke with the goal judge, Mark, and the goal judge said, had they asked me about it, I would have said that the goalpost came off of the moorings before the puck went in. However, the referee is the final decision in that case. He thought that the puck went in ahead of the post coming off, so therefore he said it is a goal.
And he made that immediate decision, did not even bother talking with the goal judge because he felt he was in a better position at that time.
Exactly.
So obviously it stands. Rosa wins the game 9-8. Well, just getting to the state tournament is quite an accomplishment. For the coaches, it has meant months of driving home the basics of hockey. Jim Gately and veteran coach Doug Woog have a report on the various styles of play and some examples of proper execution.
All the teams in the state tournament are obviously very good at the fundamentals, but there are some differences in style. Of the 8 teams in the tournament, 5 use the basic North American style.
You have Edina, Burnsville, Kennedy, Hill Murray, and St. Cloud Apollo. In the traditional style, the wings will play up and down their lanes, and the center will move across occasionally, but they'll move up and down the rink basically in their lanes.
Roseau is a little bit different.
Rosa will move across. They'll anticipate and share some of the responsibilities around the rink.
We also have to look at 2 fast skating teams in Hibbing and Johnson. How would you describe their style?
Distinctly different, much more European. They'll go to the openings. There'll be a lot of interchanging and a lot of weaving.
No matter what style a team uses, the key is obviously execution. We're going to start looking at the basic breakout play, something that's done every day in practice. The defenseman swings around the net, looks up, hits the wing on the post, and then the winger passes to the center, who's skating out, and the offense is on its way.
Defenseman has the puck. He's going to pass to the posted winger. He'll pass to the center, and out they come.
The next fundamental in the North American style is skating your lanes. That's where the right wing basically stays on the right side, the center remains pretty much in the middle, and the left wing stays over on the left side.
Right when he has the puck in the right lane, passes all the way over to the left, centers in the middle, number 6, walks in, shoots, and scores.
And of course, forechecking is very important. That's when you're trying to prevent the other team from breaking out of their own end.
First forecheck, you see one man coming, second man to support, using only 2 players. This forecheck will be a little more aggressive, using 2, possibly 3 forwards in on the forecheck. The next replay will show all 3 blue forwards in on the play, deep in the zone, resulting in a goal.
Of course, if the opposition does get the puck out of their own zone, the key then is back-checking.
Yeah, it's very important that the defensive forward picks up the offensive forward so he cannot score or get the puck. Number 7, you'll see him pick up number 14 in the white, follow him right to the net until the play is over. Here he gets inside position, watches the man, gets an eye on the puck until the play is completed, and gets back into the offensive play. Here you see an on-back check forward, getting the puck and putting it away cleanly for a goal. The ability to skate is still one of the most important ingredients for hockey success. Both systems can be effective. The key to it is execution. Each has responsibilities, and the players must carry out these responsibilities. Both systems are effective.
I have one remaining question, though. How come those kids skate a lot faster than we used to, or that I used to?
Well, I think their training methods are much better. The coaching is better. All-around hockey development has advanced very, very much in this country.
I'm glad there wasn't something wrong with us.
Talent has something to do with it, Jim. We should report that to him.
Come on, Jim.
A pair of Dewey Wallen goals makes it 2-0 Johnson over Hibbing for third place. We're between the first and second period. This is Hockey 84 continuing coverage of the 1984 State High School Hockey Tournament.
And we're back at the St. Paul Civic Center, and to all of the fans of the Blue Jackets of Hibbing, we owe an apology. There was a change that we were not informed of, but we should have picked it up, and O'Hara is in goal, so our apologies. He wears number 30, and that is the change. We had a number change, and now we are set to go, so our apologies. That's the mistake from yours truly here in the booth. 14:51 remaining in the second period here in a 2-0 game. And it's set up now. Stick handling, moving it up ice. That is Larson in over the blue line. Whistle, and play will be stopped.
There was a great example of interchanging lanes. They were offside on the timing of the play, but Larson was carrying the puck, and the forwards all interchanged. Had a nice flow to it. The timing just missed at the blue line.
So a 2-0 game now, just underway in the second period. Remember, we opened the period with Bryant being in the penalty box for a total now of 1 minute and 37 seconds more.
Larson has the puck now behind the net. See if Johnson comes back. They're back a little bit better now, coming out a little bit more together.
That is Dewey Wallen overskating the puck, and it's moved back in the zone by Kristoff. And going back is Larson behind the net. Larson working the boards. Is Hibbing trailing 2-0, trying to move it right out in front. And it's cleared. Moving it up ice. And in over the blue line now in a 2-0 game. With it is Dewey Wallen trying to move it toward the slot. Went behind the net. Right out in front was Leibel. And overskated the puck now down to the corner is Hansen. And whistle and play will be stopped. Andricken there as well.
Tommy Leibel was on the right wing with Dewey Wallen come down the rink. He was a little bit ahead of him. Instead of going offside, he dipped nicely at the blue line, allowed the play to continue in the zone. Tom Leibel makes a lot of good plays without the puck.
The Blue Jackets of Hibbing are 22-2-1 on the year, and the St. Paul Governors are 23-4. That is Antonio Catani in the face-off circle against Howe. Antonio Catani's father is not here. He is involved in a tournament in the Chicago area. And it's set up now, angled off the boards on the near side, trying to move it up ice. That is Antonio Catani. And it was taken away by Gaylor. And back goes Hibbing. Antonio Catani right out in front. And it was cleared along the near boards by the Governors. And it's set up. That is Zezel with a shot knocked down and steered to the far corner. Fish with it on the far wing, wristing it to center ice. 2-0 to score. And coming back over to set it up, that is Gaylor, who wears number 6 on the lead. That's broken up and played back to the line. Get over the line. Gostad out of the ice. Antonio Catani moved it in the slot. Nobody there. Howe back the other way. This is Howe now for St. Paul Johnson to the blue line. And Antonio Catani along with Gostad working on the corner. Held in by Fish. Fish with the puck and also there trying to come up with it is Gostad. And it was cleared out of the zone. And moving up ice, Gostad. And over the line. Nice return pass. Shot in the save. by DeRose, right out in front. Gostad a shot and a goal. Oh, what an effort there. Second and third effort by Sean Gostad, getting his 5th goal of the year and his first of the tournament, and it's a 2-1 game.
Nice passing play coming down the rink. Finally finished it off at the end. Gostad just stayed in front and waited and put it upstairs for a fine goal. Play started at the offensive blue line. Johnson mishandled the puck and got caught in a 2-on-1 situation. Give and go passing. Gostad finally got the shot. You see it coming here. There he gets the first attempt, but now watch what he does. He hangs around the net, finally comes back, holds it, patience, and throws it in there.
A lot of credit there. That's a very strong effort by number 11, Sean Gostad.
I think everybody was cheering the first save here at Johnson Govey, and he held it, but then Gostad stayed right in there and put the open net goal in.
So only a 1-goal deficit now for the Blue Jackets of Hibbing, as you get another look at the goal of Gostad.
Was that a shorthanded goal, or were they 5-5 at the time?
And we'll get the 5-on-5 as the official call. And it's set up now. Stick-handed with a puck and coming back over. And cross ice in a 2-1 game here. I think this is going to go right down to the wire. Don't you, Doug?
I think there'll be more scoring, yes.
And going back now, Bartis over to set it up on the far side. And it's moved up ice in this 2-1 game to the blue line. Bryant is there along the near wing. Whistle and play will be stopped. And there's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
On the goals,
Zezel getting the assist on the goal by Gostad, and it's a 2-1 game. And trying to set it toward the slot. Whistle and play will be stopped. Doug?
the play going in the zone by Zezel. He really made a nice pass over to Gostad. It was a perfect pass. Held it nicely, slid it over there, and Gostad went in. And stayed around. You saw what happened on the replay. Patience paid off for him.
And DeRose in one goal, and Tim O'Hara in the other. In a 2-1 game. Face-off coming up to the left side. Both teams are at equal strength here. And Iozo turned and pushed it at the net. And it was deflected along the near boards. Dewey Wallen, but it was held in by Kristoff. Then cleared from his stick, and knocking it down, it was Larson. Going cross ice in the pass, and it's picked up. Here's Berthium. Berthium to the blue line, and over the line, Berthium. And he tried to move around Larson, the junior defenseman, who is going to be a great hockey player. Andrican there, the captain, the leader of the hockey team for the Hibbing Blue Jackets. And he's bumped along the boards, back to the point on the far side. And Andrican tried to pick it up as Gaylor at the point, just inside the line. Gaylor moving in with Larson, shot, and O'Hara with the save.
Gaylor's strong boy, big sophomore. He plays football. I think he was their middle linebacker. Can you imagine that sophomore at high school starting in the middle linebacker? Rod Manx has a lot of praise for this big, tough defenseman.
So we have 11 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the second period. Head coach Bill Olson in his second year. He was 17-4 in his first campaign and has the club this year with 22-2-1.
Nice hockey teams out of Hibbing through the years.
And it's set up now. George Perpich there for 29 years and just really did a heck of a job of building the program up at Hibbing. And Rod Magnuson, on the other hand, has been a head coach for a long time here in the Twin Cities area.
St. Paul Wash, he started out there, and has been at Johnson, I think, 13 years now. Both fine gentlemen, talking about Bill and Rod, and great people. It's
set up in a 2-1 game now, as Grillo with the puck lost it to Dewey Wallen. And it goes back cross ice in the neutral zone. It comes back to the blue line in a 2-1 game, and with it is Dewey Wallen. Wallen's pass goes to Barrett. Barrett on the lead to Olander. Get over the blue line. It's broken up by Gostad. Gostad trying to get help from Antonio Catani and Vidmar to bring it out of the zone. And it comes back out and set up. Stick-handed with the puck. That's Zezel in over the blue line. Zezel, Catani, and Grillo play as a unit. And they've had a fine season. Moving it up ice now, coming back the other way. St. Paul Johnson in over the blue line. Olander to Wallen. Puck checked away. Zezel moving back with Catani and trailing is Grillo. And Zezel with a puck down to the corner on the near side. Zezel behind the net, tried to center it right out in front. And a backhander by Catani to rebound to Zezel. Grillo holding the zone. Grillo with it, and he fired a shot. It was deflected by Catani. Played around to the far side to Dewey Wallen. Wallen in the corner, whistle, and play will be stopped. And there's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Ten minutes and 27 seconds remaining here in the second period. Doug, at a 2-1 game.
Yeah, Johnson get caught with their forwards out in the neutral zone. They misplayed the pass. It was 2-on-1 underneath by the goaltender. They got off there without giving up a goal. One of the risks of playing the system, if you get your forwards out too high and the puck isn't played properly, you've got a lot of gap inside your own end.
And St. Paul Johnson clears it. It's striding back Nikolov, and there will be an icing call.
Yeah, to elaborate that a little bit further, forwards are taking off, but the Johnson defensemen didn't have total possession, and they were out beyond the blue line. So when the puck was intercepted, it was put back on the net, and there was two Johnson forwards waiting to a little cash in that just happened to get deflected over the net. So it is dangerous if you release too quickly if you don't execute the passes.
And a face-off, and Nikolov trying to hold the point, and coming back over is Bryant. Bryant had to take it away, moving it right out in front. Shot, oh, and it hit the pipe as it went off the stick of Fox on the near side. Back to the point, that is Bartison with a drive, and oh, what a nice save by O'Hara. Picked it right out of the air.
Good angle, he was out nicely, gloved it. Timmy O'Hara, nice job. Nice action by the Johnson Govies, too. Fish hit the goalpost just prior to that going in. Nice little action here for the last 30-40 seconds.
The Blue Jackets have finished in third place 3 times in 67-70 and 1982. And St. Paul Johnson has finished in third place 3 times in 54, 65, and 68. Moving up ice, that is Marolt. Marolt is tied up by Berthew. Played behind the net, going around on the far side now. The Governor's turn and bring it out. There's Tom Hansen, a person that has impressed a lot of people here at the state tournament this year, the junior defenseman. And it's played out to center ice, coming back over to pick it up. That is Kristoff, Jerry Kristoff, the junior, to Hansen. And it was cleared from the stick, but retrieving is Kristoff. Kristoff with it to Hansen, who wears number 2, to Iozzo. 54 points in the year, 7 power play goals, 2 shorthanded goals, 7 game-winning goals. The list goes on and on. That is Andrikin, get over the line. Andrikin with a drive, and it's high. Comes around to the point on the near side, and Hansen tried to move it at the net. Knocked down Andrikin right out in front. Shot saved by DeRose. Not a great effort. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Watch this great save coming up by DeRose. That went over top. Now Andrikin throws it over to Marolt. Coming right here. Now DeRose makes the play.
Back to the point, and a shot taken by Gaustad right out in front. And Johnson moves it out to center ice, picking it up, coming it over the blue line is Larson. And going back is Gaustad. Gaustad back in a 2-1 game. Up and down action here in the second period. On the lead ahead, moving it up ice. Zezel in over the line. Patani chasing the puck, and it's picked up by Harvey. Harvey with it, trying to wrist it out, held in. Zezel with a drive. And it was knocked down whistle, and we have an injured player behind the net.
Antonio Cantani is down behind it. He crashed hard into the boards. Hope he's okay.
Antonio Cantani led the Iron Range Conference in scoring. For regular season, he had 26 goals, 21 assists, 47 points. Pat Iozzo of Hibbing had 44 points on 22 goals and 22 assists. The score is 2-1. This is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Here we see number 3, Cantani. Antonio slam into the boards here. This is where the injury occurred. He might have caught a kneecap, would be my first guess on that one. But he does work hard. You see him working, going hard for that puck. Lost his skates and crashed into the sideboards. Good player. Hope he can come back.
And we have an attendance figure that has just been handed to us, 14,295. The total attendance for the tournament, 83,401. They were down about 1,273 people coming into this afternoon session. And you see a little concern there St. Paul Johnson trailing the Governors down 2-1, and the years that they won third place. And boy, there's not much pressure there being applied by Antonio Catani. Let's hope he isn't seriously hurt.
They're playing well. Hibbing's playing well. Johnson defense, what we call coughing up the puck in their own end, and the Hibbing Jackets are alertly pouncing on the puck and getting their opportunities. They've had a number of them already in this early part of the second period.
His father is involved with coaching at the community college, and they're in a big tournament in Chicago. Here is Hansen in over the blue line, setting it up. Man in the slot as they try to go for Miozo. Right there was Hansen, and it's cleared all the way back. As O'Hara looks to his left side and striding back is Dewey Wallen trying to pick it up. And it was cleared. Andrikin off of the boards, trying to go to Marold. One-on-one, skating up ice. Defenseman back is Bartison. Iozo will work it to the point. And going cross ice, trying to go to the slot. Iozo with a drive. Rebound, Andrikin right out in front. Oh, right on the doorstep was Marold. Couldn't quite handle the pass. And it's pushed up ice in the lead, back to the blue line. And trying to knock it down in the corner goes Christoph and Leibel. And coming over in the near wing to set it up now. Marold on the lead to Iozo. Here's Iozo sliding it ahead. Marold in over the line. We're going with Andrikin, but it's turned away. Back the other way comes Leibel. Leibel in over the line. Nice drop pass. The centering pass to the high slot is cleared. And to move back up ice. Here's Iozo chasing the puck, and coming way out is DeRose. And he gave it to Larson. And DeRose will get back in the net.
And Andrew can give him a little bit of a shot, just kind of coy. Wasn't a big one.
And it's checked away right out in front. Trying to go on a nice effort out in front. And it's going to be Iozo, number 4, getting his 26th goal of the year, second of the tournament, and it's tied up at 2 apiece.
Constant pressure going on there by the Jackets results in this goal. Andrikin working. Rose poke checks the puck out. Iozo stays with it, put it in the lower corner. Andrikin doing the work of his job in the corner, getting the loose puck. Here it comes. Poke check. Right on the stick, right in the corner. But I don't think we can fault DeRose. He was being asked to do too much. The Johnson defense has been pretty porous right now. They're running around. They don't have unity in their own end. So DeRose really isn't the fault here. He's had a lot of work to do, make some big saves. But we have a tie ball game. Should liven things up. Maybe the Govies will come back now.
So Iozo gets his 26th goal of the year, second of the tournament, and we're locked at 2 with 7:02 remaining in the second period. And skating back, trying to pick it up, and trying to clear it out of the zone with Sperthium on the pass, left wing to Fox. Fox moving it up ice to Howe. Howe in over the blue line, sliding it in on DeRose, or pardon me, on O'Hara. O'Hara now in goal here in this hockey game, and it's played back out to center ice. DeRose at the other end, watching the action in the neutral zone. Howe with the puck, and it's played in over the line to Fox. Fox down to the corner. Fox had it cleared from his stick, and it's Zezel with it, slapping it around the boards, trying to bring it out, and it was held in by Berthiaume. Back to Zezel. Zezel and Berthiaume behind the net. And it's played to the near wing, trying to come over to pick it up, and Grillo is there. Grillo at center ice, playing it back in, and it was knocked down by DeRose.
Zezel has been in the game. He's been playing well. He's got the puck all the time when he's out there.
And coming back in the Hibbing zone, the Blue Jackets have come back to tie it up here. Whistle and play will be stopped. With the score 2-2, this is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Hibbing is showing more continuity in their game at this point. Moving together, playing in unit. Much more effective than Johnson is at this point.
5 minutes, 56 seconds remaining in the second period. Vidmar cross ice. And it's played back to the blue line and broken up. St. Paul Johnson. And Harvey with it. Lost it to Vidmar on the lead as Esty tried to pick it up. Esty is out now with Schwartz and Gozic. This is Harvey in over the blue line. And it's played and cleared back in behind the net by Gaustad. And trying to move it up by shot to goal as it was taken away out front. And I believe getting the goal was Shermack. So Shermack gets his 17th goal of the year, and it's a 3-2 lead.
Well, you see it. It was an errant pass. Not sure which defenseman made it, but right on Shermack's stick, and make no doubt, upper corner he puts it. And O'Hara was in good position. He made a good play. But boy, he hawked this one in. Nice shot. I think it was 11. Gostin kind of give that puck away. You can see Shermack, the sophomore, played last year, put it away. 3-2 Johnson. They've been opportunists. You can't deny that. They've got their chances. They put them away.
And his 17th goal of the year for Shermack, an unassisted effort. And we have a 3-2 game. And now Hibbing will have to come back here if they're going to tie it up. But they came from a 2-0 deficit, and they've only lost 2 games all year. St. Paul Johnson has only lost 4. Back to the right side of it, and Kristoff with a drive, and it's knocked down. Held in a backhander, and Viozo took the backhander, and I'm not sure who made that save.
Well, I think DeRosa, he's got it in his glove, but I like the way Hibbing swarms in that. That puck went back to the point for the blast, and they had 3 guys hovering around the net waiting for something to happen. They're physical. They're not the biggest team up front. Watch the action in front. Now guys start getting ready for something to happen. Tip possibility, rebound. But they're working. Ooh, what a save. What a save. He's had some big glove saves. That's Tony Corella. Late in that game against Hill Murray.
Yeah.
Been good. DeRosa's been good.
DeRose in goal at one end and O'Hara in goal at the other end. The third place finishes for Hibbing. And do you know that Hibbing in high school, they were founded back in 1884, has won a total of 18 state titles.
Big school up there.
Which ranks sixth on the all-time list. Right out in front, there's a shot and a goal by Marot. And he was given the pass by Kristoff. As Pat Marot gets his first goal of the tournament, 14th of the year, and it's tied at 3 apiece.
We just talked about how they hover around the net. And Marot made that play just before, too, where there was the action, the shot from the board. Here he comes back with another shot. This is Marot coming in there for a rebound. Kristoff had taken the first shot. But they do come to the net where the action's going to be. Here you see Kristoff lining up, shot, rebound, and a goal by Marot. Nobody stands still on the Hibbing team when the shots are taken. They move to the net where they can follow rebound or tip.
You know, one of the things I have heard from a lot of people here at this tournament talking about how well coached the teams are. And one that's near the top of the list, actually, both St. Paul Johnson and Hibbing.
Oh, yes. Fine coaches. They play. The kids do some different things.
Talk to the college coaches, and they can tell that, and they spot it, and they see that they're very well coached. And moving it up ice, broken up by Nikolov. Here's Nikolov coming back. In over the blue line now. Zezel, shot and a goal! By Zezel, his 18th goal of the year, first of the tournament. And it is 4-3 Blue Jackets.
Well, it's a nice passing play. Led up the rink. There might have been a 4-man rush at that point. Nice backhand pass to Zezel. Watch his pass. They're walking in. Puts it away. Short side. Nice wrist shot. Walking in. Very nice. Catani's back in the game. He was ready to hawk on that rebound if it wasn't in.
Just going to mention that to the people that are Hibbing Blue Jacket fans, wondering how Catani was if they didn't see him on that shift there. Going to point out that he is indeed back on the ice. In fact, he's ready to take the draw at center ice.
You can see how he was going to go in on that rebound or the play. Nice execution at the goal mouth.
This may be a game of who scores last, Doug. And coming in over the blue line, Catani with it, and whistle and an offside will be called. It was 2-0. Dewey Wallen got 2 goals for St. Paul Johnson. Then Hibbing came back and tied it at 2. Then it was 3-2, 3-3, and now 4-3.
Nikolov gets credit for that assist, I believe, doesn't he? The first pass was a very nice pass. And, you know, I like Zezel. He walked in there. He picked his spot. He knew what he was doing. He didn't take the big slap shot. He got the nice wrist shot off and found his corner. And I like the way Catani was going for that rebound or the pass if it came.
And it's set up now at center ice. We have 4:24 remaining in the second period. And Kasner in over the blue line. Kasner with a puck on the near boards. Flipping it down to the corner. Schwartz is out. And it's picked up by Potter as he tried to bring it away from the boards. Olander is there. It's loose down to the corner. Whistle and one out play stop.
I think Weibel is going to be a pretty good college player someplace. A little more development. He came in to help out when the heavy stuff got down the corner. Did a good job. I wonder if you're playing against Dewey Wallen right now. You've got a 4-3 lead. Do you assign somebody to shadow him? That's a possibility you might see later in the game. It's difficult to do, but he is really the big threat for the Gubbies on the breakaway speed.
And we'll have the face-off coming up to the right side. And trying to get off a draw, and it comes all the way back to center ice to Vidmar. Vidmar angling it on the near side to the blue line, knocking it down, and played back by Fox to the blue line. Broke it up there. And coming back the other way, that is Schwartz. Schwartz off the wing, shot, knocked down, and the glove save by DeRose.
There'll be a meeting down there now. I don't think that was taken too kindly. They came after DeRose a little bit. One thing that Hibbing's doing, too, their transition game, when they turn the puck. Okay, we'll come back to that in a minute. Here you see the play going in, the shot being taken, and watch the action out the net. As the Hibbing guy comes in, he'll be answered to, I guess, as they walked in on the net and gave DeRose a little bit of a jab. I'm going to talk about the transition game. Hibbing is doing such a fine job when they intercept the pass or when Johnson turns over the puck to them. They're getting the puck up. The next pass is taking place very quickly, so they're springing their people, jumping on the Johnson defenseman.
DeRose with a goals against average of .236, so O'Hara .256 coming into this game. Got it set up now. With it is Howe in over the blue line, knocked down, back out to center ice to Berthiaume. Berthiaume cross ice in the pass, and that's broken up on the far boards by Esty, and he plays it to the blue line of the Governors. Coming cross ice to Fox. Fox to the blue line, trying to go to Howe. Howe in the center ice zone along with Fox. And St. Paul Johnson has Howe in the puck, get over the line. Moving it in is Fish with a shot steered away by O'Hara. In the corner, it goes to Gozic. Gozic along with Hansen. And helping out Esty, trying to move it right out in front. And over to pick up the puck is Esty. Esty to center ice on the pass ahead. And St. Paul Johnson regrouping in their own zone, and coming over is Fish. Fish looking for the outlet, intercepted by Hansen. Harvey tried to take it away from Hansen. It's pushed off on the boards to the near side to Esty. Back to the blue line to Gozic, and whistle and play will be stopped with 2:45 remaining in the period.
Offside play there. Hibbing has had the momentum for the most part. Tommy Howe gave us a little individual stick handling play down in the right corner. And a nice move came in. He had the shot blocked, but for the most part, Hibbing is doing the moving. They're doing the passing and the completion of them. Outstanding game by Hibbing right now.
2:45 remaining in the second period. We had an exciting game for the Consolation Championship, and now you've got a great game going here between two pretty good hockey teams.
Yeah, they both skate well. I like this line here. Anderkin, Iozo, and Marot, they play well together. They work.
These two clubs have also won 6 championships between them. 4 for St. Paul Johnson and a couple for Hibbing, the Blue Jackets, winning at 52 and 73. Get over the line, Anderkin going cross ice in the pass. St. Paul Johnson winning in 47, 53, 55, and 63. And Iozo leaving it go, moving it up ice. Coming in over the line is Anderkin. Anderkin trying to move it in the high slot to Iozo. Back to Anderkin. Shot, and it's steered away by DeRose. And it comes back to the point. Over to Bryant. Bryant with a wrist shot. Oh! Kicked out of the air by DeRose.
We're going to have interference call here, too. A little clearing out in front of the net from behind. Either be interference or hitting from behind. Anderkin anticipates well.
Look, somebody might be looking and seeing DeRose there with that. Well, we'll pick up that thought in just a moment as you get a look at the replay.
Here's Bryant can intershoot. Now watch the Johnson man. He just knocked over 17 and just knocked over number 4, Iozo.
My point is the flap you see right there on DeRose. Does that really help a goalie? What's the protection area there? For the throat?
Throat, yes.
Yeah.
Throat area. Something that's come in the last few years, and a lot of the goalies are wearing them.
2 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. Imagine it take a little getting used to, though, huh?
Yeah, that one's moving around pretty rapidly down there.
And it's Katani. Good to see him back out of the ice. Got it set up now. Zezel out with, we have 1:53 remaining in regulation time. And Leibel with it at center ice. St. Paul Johnson, the Governors, only 4 losses on the year. Got it set up, and Katani with it, whistle, and play will be stopped. And they play in the St. Paul City League, and they've had a great season as well here, too. They have 9 seniors on this hockey team, 5 juniors and 6 sophomores.
Let's see if we can watch the Hibbing power play. If they do establish in the zone, either one of the 2 defensemen for Hibbing will try to pick. The one without the puck will do the picking on the far side forward. Let's see what happens.
1:35 remaining in the second period, and Hibbing is taking the lead and trying to move it toward the slot. and it was knocked down and played back the length of the ice.
Boy, nice moves by Tommy Hansen. He just, he really put some moves on as he came up the rink.
And you know, Doug, you take a look at, we mentioned the upperclassmen on St. Paul. The 6 defensemen for Hibbing are going to be back next year.
Yeah, all of them, juniors.
That's just, not in particular just those people, but I mean the whole defense. Out along the boards of the near side. Setting it up, there's Andrikin right out in front with a drive. Knocked down, we have 1 minute remaining in the Pearson. That's over to Hansen, and that drive is blocked by Wallen. Nice play there.
Crease 14, let's go outside.
And
14 in the crease. He's going to have to go outside. You hear the referee calling from up here. When you're in the crease, if the goalie's in the crease and the puck is not in there, you cannot go into that crease area. They'll bring it back out. Try to protect the goalie from being overly abused and taking advantage of in tights. It's a good rule in the rule book. And they'll call it more often in a power play situation so you don't have an extra advantage.
In a 4-3 game here in the second period. .48 seconds remaining in a penalty time. As the man advantage for the Blue Jackets.
This is a critical time here. If Johnson holds them off, they're only down by 1.
Zezel to the blue line, and over the line. That is Grillo on the wing with Nikolov. Comes out over to center ice, and this is how. And he is upended in front of his own bench. And with it now is Bryant. He'll carry it in over the blue line. Bryant cutting to the net. Around the net. Still controlling the puck. Bryant on the wing. Bryant stick handling, and he tried to go to Zezel, who was moving toward the slot, but it's cleared. Back out to center ice. We have 20 seconds remaining now in the second period. Whistle and play will be stopped.
We do have some good puck handling defensemen. Hansen, Bryant. That's a pretty good crew for all juniors. There's some very outstanding players there. That helps too in the power play to be able to handle that puck. He did throw the puck away at the very end of that, but he did handle it well. He tried to make a pass, didn't quite go to the right party. He went to the maroon rather than to the white. But he is a good puck handling defenseman.
And set up now at center ice with 10 seconds remaining in a penalty time. That is played in over the blue line by Hansen. Going back over is Gaylor. Gaylor wristing it around the boards, and it comes all the way back over to Kristoff. Kristoff is setting it up as we have now only 2 seconds remaining. And we have come to the end of the second period of play. But after 2 periods, it's the Blue Jackets leading the Governors by a goal.
Well, I think we all can see by just watching the game that Hibbing has dominated the territorial part of the game. Johnson is still in it. They're only 1 goal down. That's significant. But in reality, the Hibbing Blue Jackets have really been pumped up today and playing very well. They're aggressive. They're executing things around the net. They've been very good today.
And let's go down to sports control.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. We've seen 2 exciting games already. Roseau winning that exciting overtime game 9-8. And that first one over Burnsville. And right now we have a 4-3 lead with Hibbing and Lightning goals in that period, Ralph.
This one isn't that far away from that type of a game, 4-3, but both these teams have the potent offense.
Doug was mentioning that Hibbing certainly had the territorial edge, but Johnson really, I know you've seen him a number of times, plays that way. They never really look that good out there, but all they do is put the puck in the net.
They're always looking for the open man, the fast break. They're leaving someone out there by the blue line ready for, well, the first period was a good example of that when Dewey Wallen got that the one breakaway. They had several other opportunities in that same area.
This Hibbing team may be still 1 year away from being back here. All 6 defensemen back. They're all juniors, so that's something to be said.
It's really a junior-laden team, not just the defensemen. There are some other juniors on that team also that are pretty good players.
And it was good to see Antonio Catani get up and play after he was injured earlier in that second period. So live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing coverage of the 1984 State High School Hockey Tournament.
We're back between the second and third periods. Hibbing leading 4-3 over Johnson. Tom Hanman with some happy Hibbing people.
That's right, Ralph. I think last night the Hibbing High School cheerleaders might have been the most disappointed cheerleaders in the tournament. That's obviously not the case this evening. First of all, let's get the names of the cheerleaders.
Janelle Stish, Missy Bursich, Sue Michelson, Maggie Clash, Liz Rue, Suka Stitch.
Let me ask you how difficult last night's loss was to take.
Well, it's kind of, you feel bad about it, but it's really great just to be here. And it's kind of hard taking it when it's run in so hard, but we're really proud of our guys, and it's,
Was it difficult, did you find, to get yourself pumped up for this game and also get the Hibbing fans pumped up to begin with?
I didn't hear the question.
I'm sorry, did you find it difficult to get yourself pumped up for this game and to get the Hibbing fans pumped up as well?
Oh, no, they were ready for this game. They bounced back really well, and we're going to win today.
All right. Ladies, thanks so much and good luck. Back to Sports Control.
Okay, Tom, and we should point out Bill Olson, the coach of Hibbing, was saying earlier today that it is something for Hibbing to come all the way down here. It takes a while to get acclimated. It's almost like having jet lag for those northern teams.
Well, they have a chance to become the second northern team to take home a trophy. Rosa winning the consolation championship, and now we have a situation where Hibbing just one period away from possibly taking the third place trophy. Let's get into the highlights. The game was tied at 2, then a couple of defensive mistakes here. They played giveaway. First of all, Johnson scoring here as Jim Chermak drilled it home in the upper corner. The defenseman could not get the puck out of the zone there, and Chermak didn't make a mistake. This is the way Johnson played, Ralph, because they didn't have that many opportunities, but they did take advantage of them.
They were opportunists indeed. That came at 9:31. Jim Chermak scoring. That made it 3-2 Johnson after they had given up a couple of goals, as you said.
Picture-perfect play there.
Oh, yes, and then look at this one right over the top. Jerry Christoph, number 12, to Pat Maralt, number 14. That ties it at 3.
Tim DeRose was down and already committed himself, and here's John Zezel walking in.
Beautiful wrist shot on this one, Mark.
Classic wrist shot on the short side.
That man right there, DeRose, has made some outstanding saves, or it could be much worse than a 4-3 lead, because he has held the Johnson Governors into this point. They've been completely outplayed.
Hibbing coming into this tournament as the #1 ranked team in the state of Minnesota. They had a tough loss to Edina, but they're bouncing back today. They lead now by the score of 4-3. And speaking of scores of 4-3, the Minnesota North Stars have just defeated the Philadelphia Flyers by that same score, 4-3 at the Sports Center. So Lou Nanny will be in a good mood when he does the color commentary of our championship game tonight.
We have all sorts of sellouts, and of course there's a big WCHA playoff game going on over at Williams Arena. You have anything on that? The last I saw was 5-0.
5-0
for UMD.
UMD was ahead of North Dakota. That was in the second period of play.
Okay, live from the St. Paul Civic Center, this is continuing coverage of the 1984 State High School Hockey Tournament.
We're back at the St. Paul Civic Center. Before we start the third period, we have an update on that UMD North Dakota score. UMD leading 8-0 over North Dakota. This for the championship, going on to, I'm sure UMD will be heading for the Final Four, looking for their first national championship.
I have to believe that Brad Butow might be thinking that if UMD does keep up that kind of scoring, that his club might have a shot at a bid.
Two-game total goal series, and our hats off to Mike Surdich and UMD, and I know they have done a tremendous job, and it's nice to see their little brother up north coming through this year. Let's go back. Speaking of little brothers, we're going back upstairs and see how the Hibbing Blue Jackets can do from up north in this third period. Gentlemen?
Well, it's a good game. It's a great game, really. Hibbing has applied most of the pressure. They've played very well. I think we can highlight the 6 defensemen who have played very well for them. Jerry Christoph, Tommy Hansen, Bo Nickloff, Richie Bryant, Mike Vidnar, and Sean Gosted, along with, I think, the top 2 lines. Iozo, Andrikin, and Merle on that first unit, and Katani, Grillo, and Ziesel have been outstanding so far today. It's been fun. Govies have had some outstanding play also. It's been really Dewey Wallen's game in terms of offensive show. He's popped in 2. We have Jimmy Shermack getting 1. But the Govies are an explosive team, and if they can play a little sounder in their own end and get the puck up a little bit more quickly, they'll be successful also. It's really a 1-0 game. It's 4-3, but it really means 1-0. Look for them to, finish it off in great style.
And talking about St. Paul Johnson, as we mentioned earlier, they have won 4 championships. We gave you those years. They have won 3 third-place trophies. They have been a runner-up 3 times as well in 51, 64, and 67, and they won the consolation in 56 and 61. And Hibbing won the title in 4-3 decision, finishing back in 1952 over Eveleth in 73. They were 22-4-2, and they beat Alexander Ramsey 6-3. Their record in postseason play, 15-5. That's pretty good.
Oh, they're a good hockey community. Even when they weren't getting down the state tournament, Grand Rapids had a little bit of an inroad there, and they were winning, but Hibbing has had a good team. Virginia's been strong on the range, and for years you have International Falls. Iron Range is a great conference, and they'll come in with pride, and I think you'll look for Hibbing to try to win one of those 2 trophies that Mark was talking about.
And I thought a thing that was kind of interesting, and the north-south thing a little bit, the friendly rivalry in the consolation game. The Hibbing people got behind Roseau, and we're cheering for them as we sat up here in the press box, and Now, I'm sure in this game, as you look down there, there's some Roseau people cheering for Hibbing. And I don't know what's going to happen tonight when you got two Lake South Conference teams who they're going to get one another to cheer for. There'll be other fans here in the building tonight, but that should be a great matchup, too.
Well, you have Kennedy, which is, solid work ethic, and you have Edina, which may be a little bit deeper in personnel. But Kennedy has beaten teams that's supposedly better than them all year, and especially down the sectionals and then here in the state tournament. They are a well-coached team. They have good players and have a lot of heart. Should be an outstanding game this evening.
266 wins for that gentleman who was just on your screen right there. Rod Magnuson, he's a funny man to talk to. We had a nice conversation with him on Wednesday. I could tell if you were around him for a while, you'd hear a number of jokes, wouldn't you?
Oh, he's a great one-liner. He's a fun guy.
And here we go in the second period as St. Paul Johnson is down by a goal here as Hibbing has taken the lead, and we'll recap the goal scoring for you. That is Wallen moving it up ice on the far side. Wallen to the blue line. Hit over the line, and Wallen was checked off his skates by Christoph. We are just underway in the third period. That is Christoph for Hibbing in the corner, trying to take it away. Is Bertram right out in front. Shot save! And a big leaguer by O'Hara there. And it's moved up ice now at center ice, and Marolt playing it in over the blue line. Over to Iozo. Iozo flipping it behind the net, coming over is Berthium to pick it up. Berthium tied up by Marolt. Iozo there. And the puck comes loose in the corner. We have 14-11 remaining in the third period. And it's cleared to Wallen up ice on the near side. Wallen against Nikolov. The pass to Olander went behind him. And now Hibbing turns it away. The Blue Jackets, Iozo, that lead pass intercepted by Berthium, trailing is Olander to control. And his pass ahead is broken up, and this is Bryant. Bryant in over the line, and a whistle at an offside was called.
Almost a good scoring opportunity by Johnson as they came over the line, but the pass from Wallen to Olander was a little bit behind him. They had an idea going in the zone what they were going to try to accomplish.
Bill Olson, in taking over, said it was kind of funny the first time he took the bench and George Perpich was not there.
Well, George is a little bit bigger, too. He left a big gap.
But George, 29 years up in that area.
Oh, he's a fine man, too.
I think he's made a few contributions to hockey in his career.
Yeah, he has a lot of friends in hockey.
And it goes to Bryant behind the net. Loose along the boards of the near side. We have 13:31 remaining, and coming back, that's Nikolov in the near corner. Fish trying to tie him up. Nikolov goes down. And the Blue Jackets of Hibbing will bring it out of their own zone. And with it is Nikolov, one of those defensemen. Nikolov with a wrist shot, and it was knocked down to the left side of the net. And it's cleared out of the zone. And going back to set it up now, that's Zezel. Zezel off on the far side. Zezel in the corner, had it taken away by Wallach, trying to go out in front. And it's picked up and moved up ice. 12:57 remaining in the third period. It's 4-3. Hibbing out in front. And Grillo in the corner, trying to work the boards with Catani. Catani digging it out, moved it right out in front. Catani in the slot, turned, fired it off. Zezel shot wide. Back over in Catani, backhander, and that's knocked down. And it was cleared by Larson out of the zone.
A lot of pressure by that second unit. Very good pressure.
12 minutes 32, and the change on the part of both clubs here. And it's wristed down to the corner as it rolls in behind DeRose. Knocked down and angled around the boards, trying to bring it out was Petras. On the lead, Hibbing trying to hold the zone. Knocked down at center ice in a 4-3 game. And off on the far boards, Fox had it taken from his stick, and it's played back to Petras. DeRose taking a look from behind the net as St. Paul Johnson is down by a goal. And we have 12 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in regulation time. Played ahead quickly on the far side, fired by the goaltender O'Hara. Schwartz out to try and pick it up, knocked down, and at center ice, moving up ice, and it was taken off the stick of Schwartz. And in the neutral zone, picked up by Gaustad. And he plays it in behind the net, and DeRose will knock it down there. On the boards on the near side, trying to pick it up on the wing. Boxfire in the corner. Kasner is there for Hibbing, and it's set up on the near side of the breakout. That is moving up ice, Shermack. Shermack to the blue line. Shermack moving it in. Shot, and it's deflected, and O'Hara makes the save. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
Jimmy Shermack, good sophomore. Coming in, hits him right in the mask. Couldn't see it from that angle, but hit him right in the mask. Rod Magnuson was saying how proud he was of his sophomores, how well they've played in this tournament. Jimmy's one of them. Mitch Converse, another. Kaler, have all played well.
Pat Iozzo in the face-off circle for Hibbing, and it's angled out on the far side. Andrican with 47 points in the gear, and Iozzo moving in. Iozzo down to the corner and a whistle, and we've got a penalty, which is coming up against St. Paul Johnson. And the time of the penalty is 3:51. And with the score 4-3, this is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center.
Okay, you'll see Kaler approaching Andrican, and he does hog time. You'll see the pull down coming up shortly. It was a good call by the referee.
And going into the penalty box, the time of the penalty, 3:51, and there is what it was called for. Yeah, now the man advantage situation. It's a 4-3 game. Hibbing is out in front here. Iozzo with the puck, and he plays it in on DeRose. DeRose steering it to the near point. And on the wing, setting it up, this is Marolt with a drive. Tipped right out in front and cleared by Larson. Out of the zone.
Big save. You'll see now what Hibbing tries to do with the power play.
DeRose has a total of 22 saves, according to our stats. O'Hara has a total of 11. And Iozzo with the puck, moving it past Leibel. And it was held in by Berthew, played behind the net. 10 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in regulation time. It's a 4-3 game. And Hibbing is out in front. Andrican with the puck. Here's Andrican carrying it in over the line. Andrican in the corner. He's tied up by Leibel. Larson is there as well. Whistle and play will be stopped.
Marolt was down on the far blue line trying to pull the Johnson defenseman out. He was waving the stick real high. I think he was looking for the long pass as well. And Andrican chose to come up the rink, try to get in the zone.
Hibbing is 1 of 5 on their power play opportunities. And they converted on the year on about 34% of their power play opportunities.
I can believe that. They have some flexibility in that power play. They can do a number of different things early on that we talked about trying to pick. Let's see what they do here.
And it's loose along the board on the near side in a 4-3 game. And with it is Catani moving it right out in front, and it's cleared by Howe and held in. Whistle, and play will be stopped. We're down now to exactly a minute remaining on the power play situation.
One thing that helps the Hibbing Blue Jackets also, they have a variety of good defensemen handle the puck. They also have 2 good puck-carrying lines, and so they can go with a back-to-back units, 1 minute each, and have a chance to score.
And up ice goes Bartison, back broken up by Nikolov. Nikolov with the puck on the far boards. Nikolov. Here's Nikolov coming in over the blue line. Nikolov around Bartison. Chased him in the corner. Nikolov. And the pass is broken up, and it's played back down to the Blue Jacket zone. Quickly ahead by O'Hara, who has had 11 saves so far. And moving it up ice, that is Zezel. Wears number 6, a senior in over the line. Tried to split the defense, and it went to Catani, whose shot was deflected. And it goes to Wallach, who tried to bring it out. They got Catani in the slot. They give him the puck, and he tried to slide it ahead. Catani with a shot behind the net. Catani moved it right out in front, trying to clear it is Howe. And he works it to the boards on the near side. And it's played in the corner. That is Howe, as he tried to bring it out of the zone. And Bryant had it deflected off his skate, and he has to go back to set it up.
Catani sees the whole rink so well. He makes some good passes.
And Catani back in over the blue line. Catani with the puck. Played in the corner. Both teams now at full strength here. In the third period with 8:59 remaining. Zezel with the backhander. And it's deflected down to the corner on the far boards. Zezel tried to hold his zone. Catani's in the slot, but it was cleared away from him by Petrus to center ice. Nikolov there. Played it off the sideboards. Whistle and play will be stopped. There's a break in the action, and we'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.
You see the Hibbing out shooting Johnson here, 28-18. And these are stops or shots on goal. I think if you took shots attempted, it may be a wider margin than that.
8 minutes and 42 seconds remaining in regulation time. Hibbing has the lead by a goal, and that is Claudeau trying to move it to the high slot, but it comes back out over to center ice. Broken up by Gaustad. Gaustad playing it back in over the line, and Gaylor there to set it up behind the net. Gaylor with the puck. Gaylor working behind his own net. Hibbing with the 1-goal lead, and St. Paul Johnson has 2 from Dewey Wallen and 1 other goal from Shermack. And both teams at full strength now as it's moved up ice in the neutral zone. Shermack getting some help. And it's played in over the blue line by Converse. Back goes Vidmar to pick it up. Converse out of the ice with his line mates now for St. Paul Johnson. Behind the net, and Hibbing setting it up to try and bring it out of the zone. Played ahead now in the neutral zone of the far boards over to Berthiaume. Down to picking it up, coming in over the line, and Fish with it cleared away. Back comes St. Paul Johnson. Harvey had it cleared from his stick by Gostad. Ooh, nice play. And then re-intercepted by St. Paul Johnson as they pick it up at center ice. And coming in over the line, that is Larson trying to move toward the net. Larson went behind the net around the corner on the far side. Gostad is there with Girardi. And to move it up ice now, trying to skate in over the blue line. And Esty back in behind the net is driven against the boards by Barrett. And now coming back the other way, here's Dewey Wallen up ice. Dewey coming in over the blue line. Dewey's got Larson with a shot deflected by O'Hara. Out of the far boards, Leibel holding the zone. And action here with 7 minutes remaining in regulation time. And it's played ahead as Gazic played it in over the blue line. Going back over is Bartison behind the net. Bartison whipping it around over to Leibel. Here's Leibel moving up ice. Leibel on the lead to Wallen. He's checked at the blue line of Hibbing. The Blue Jackets by a goal. Flip it in over the line. On the right side, a shot. And, oh, it just deflected wide. Well, it's a good opportunity goes by the board there, Doug.
Marot did a nice pass from Richie Bryant. Bryant rushed the puck so well and feeds it. Many times the Hibbing Blue Jackets will come with 4 people led by a defenseman. So they really have an overflow coming into the zone. It's a good stop by DeRose. It was a good scoring opportunity. Nice pass by Richie Bryant to Marot.
And we'll have the face-off coming up to the left side of DeRose. And the draw set up on the far wing. Turning, trying to bring it out. And moving it up ice, that is Wallach wearing number 9. And it's taken away from behind. Andrican with the puck at center ice. He gets some help. And it's played in over the blue line by Bryant. Knocking it down is DeRose behind the net. Going to Gaylor. Gaylor backhanding it out of the far side. And leading it up ice as Hibbing holds the zone whistle. And play will be stopped. There's a break in the action. We'll be right back with the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament. Six minutes and 8 seconds remaining in regulation time. Hibbing leading it by a score of 4-3. Gostad his 5th goal of the year. Iozo with his 26th goal of the year. Also scoring is Barolt, his 14th. And Zezel, his 18th of the year. And we mentioned St. Paul Johnson has 2 from Dewey Wallen. And they have 1 from Shermack. There's 7 goals scored in this game. And the puck is loose in the corner. Trying to set something up now with 5:55 remaining. Antonio Catani behind the net, going off over to Grillo. Played away from his stick by Bartison. Played on the far side over to Shermack. And whoa, he's checked at the point. Catani with a shot knocked down. And St. Paul Johnson to Gubbies, moving up ice. That is Larson in over the blue line, playing it in the corner. And O'Hara knocking it down to behind the net. Pedaled off on the far side to Grillo. Grillo skates past the puck, and it was held in. Then Grillo re-intercepted it. Poke check clear of his stick. And Boxmeyer held it in, but it's picked up now by Vidmar. Vidmar circling behind the net, angling it off on the far side. The return to Vidmar. Near boards to Zezel. Out to center ice, but it was picked up in the neutral zone. Trying to take it away was Catani there. Vidmar is there, and so is Fox. And Fox got some help from Boxmeyer. Boxmeyer to the blue line. It was checked by Gostad. And it's loose back in the Hibbing zone, set up by the Blue Jackets, trying to bring it out. And it's center ice now with 4:54 remaining in regulation time. A 4-3 game. And with it is Barrett. His lead pass broken up. Zezel overskated the puck. Knocked down. And Barrett at center ice with Gostad. This is Barrett in over the line. He's got Wallen on his right. The pass went behind him. And in the corner on the near boards in the Hibbing zone, we have a whistle and play is going to be stopped. And we have a final in a 2-game total goal series. Duluth beat North Dakota 8-1 here at Williams Arena in the Twin Cities.
Yeah, that's amazing. Duluth's had a great season.
The Bulldogs are rolling. I think there's a lot of people in Minnesota that are wishing that Minnesota Duluth would go on through because it would be great for the community up there. They have never been in the NCAA's Final Four. And it's set up now, but it is Howe back to the point of the right side, trying to get off a shot. Around over on the far boards, Berthium with a shot, and it was deflected up over the glass.
Okay, you see that Johnson is applying some pressure now. We had a couple of big checks laid by Vidmar and Gosted in the shift before, but Johnson seems to be carrying the play right now.
4 minutes, 24 seconds remaining. They've been close both games so far today. In overtime, it was Burnsville losing to Roseau, and they scored a bunch of goals in that game, Doug. 19 of them.
That's a lot.
Or 17 goals, pardon me. It was 9-8, 17 goals. The record by one team, incidentally, is 16. Evelyn. And there's a shot by Dewey Wallen, and the save is made by O'Hara. And there's a score of 4-3. This is Hockey 84 live from the St. Paul Civic Center. Four minutes and 12 seconds remaining in regulation time. The score is 4-3 Hibbing. The Blue Jackets out in front here. At one point they trailed by a score of 2-0. And they also trailed 3-2. This is Andrikin. Andrikin and Barold moving right out in front. And a back to the point over to Bryant. Bryant tried to flip it. Shot knocked out in front. Andrikin is down, and he couldn't get off the shot as DeRose was also down. Andrikin behind the net. They got Iozo with it. And taking it away was Wallen. Wallen, Andrikin, Iozo. All in the zone, but it's cleared to center ice. And Larson will move it up ice. Hit over the blue line. And this is Leibel. Larson shot. Oh, what a save by O'Hara.
Nice feed by Leibel to Larson coming in.
And it's played on the far boards now. Trying to get it out of the zone is Nikolov. Iozo tried to pick up the lead. Berthium with the puck knocked down. And Hibbing coming to the blue line. And a check throw in there, but it's held in. Iozo and Andrikin and Marolt as the line. Marolt with a shot, and it's deflected in the corner. The rebound to Howe. Howe with the puck, had to take it away. Andrikin is in the slot, but Leibel poke checked it out to center ice. That is Nikolov, but he lifts it over everybody. But a whistle in play will be stopped at the blue line.
Marolt plays strong. Last night when Edina beat them, he took shots, he hits, he does everything. He's a good playing mucker type player, but he's a good player. He's skilled as well, but he works hard.
3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in regulation time, and there you see the championships for the Governors.
They had a lot of them, especially years back. They were a dominant force. They won the city conference, won state titles, a lot of big names, Wendell Anderson, Herb Brooks, whoever. You can go on and on. A lot of great goalies, great tradition east side.
20th trip to the state tournament. Right now, Hibbing in control here by a goal with 3 minutes remaining in regulation time. And coming in over the blue line with it is Esty, and a shot is wide. And the puck loose along the boards, and they're trying to set it up is Gozic. Back along on the near wing to the point. And we now show 2:45 remaining in regulation time. Hansen with the puck, working the corner. Hansen with it on the near side. Hansen coming over to try and pick it up. And whistle and play will be stopped. And Doug, if you're looking for a big turning point in this game, it might have been the save at the other end of the rink just a moment or so ago.
Tommy Leibel came down the right side and threw a backhand centering pass across the net in front of O'Hara, and he made the big save. Ricky Larson was coming in to tap it in, but I think O'Hara got a piece of the puck. It was a big save, could have tied it up.
And the face-off will come up now to the right side. Back in the zone of St. Paul Johnson. That is Antonio Catani in the face-off circle.
Johnson needs to come up with some big play here.
And going back over to pick it up is Barrett behind the net. Barrett working it loose, but at the point it's held in by Gostad with a shot. And trying to go over to pick it up is Grillo behind the net. And it's tied up back in behind the Governor's cage area there. And we'll have another face-off coming up.
Well, just when it looked like Rosa was out today, they were down by 3, and then the game got turned around a little bit. Then they were down again late in the game. They tied it up late and won it in overtime. So don't look for Johnson to give up. They'll keep battling. They'll go right down to the horn.
At one point, they were down 7-3. The Roseau Rams were in that game. And it's set up now as we are showing 2:19 remaining in regulation time. And the puck comes all the way back to the zone of the Blue Jackets. Now it's center ice. With it is Gostad. Here's Gostad in over the line. Gostad with the puck, and his wrist shot is blocked by Berthium. Berthium working the near boards over the stick handle with the puck. We have now 2 minutes remaining in regulation time, and an icing will be called.
As soon as Gostad went in with the puck, Quintani took his spot at the blue line. They've done that well. I see Zezel do it for the other defensemen. They are not bashful defensemen as far as carrying the puck, but those forwards cover for them so well. They've done enough so they know what to do. They're very, very effective at it.
And we'll have the face-off coming up to the right side now. Back in the zone of the Governors.
I'd look for a breakaway play here. Somebody's just going to go flying.
Both teams at equal strength here. We've only had 5 minors called in the game trying to get off the backhander, and it was cleared to the far boards. Schwartz is out as he works behind the net with help. Kasner was there as well. On the near side, it's got Claudio behind the net with Berthew, and they'll tie it up, whistle, and we still have a bit of 39 remaining.
I think if they had their option, they'd like to send Dewey Wallen right now in the draw and see if they can get it, bang it off the board, and go for a breakaway. They've done it so many times during the year that I expect to see it here. But they need the draw first.
Face-off coming up to the left side of DeRose, and the draw goes to the point of the near side. Hansen flipping it around the boards, and right in on DeRose, the goaltender, and we'll have another face-off coming up. St. Paul Johnson beat Hill Murray 3-2. Then they lost to Kennedy last night. And Hibbing, meanwhile, beat St. Cloud Apollo 6-2, and then lost to Edina.
The strategy for the Johnson Govies will be to get the puck over the blue line and dump it in the far end if they plan to pull their goaltender. They cannot monkey around with the puck. They must get it in the far end if they're going to try to pull their tender.
And this time the face-off will come up to the left side of DeRose. And the puck trying to get something. A backhander is just wide of the mark. And it was held in by Anderkin and tried a centering pass to Marolt. We now have 1:23 remaining. And now setting it up, here's Dewey Wallen on the breakout, moving up ice. This is Leibel in over the line. Leibel tried to center it to Marolt, and it was cleared to the corner. Anderkin with the puck. 1:09 remaining in regulation time. The score is 4-3 Hibbing. Oh, what a nice move by Iozo. Cross ice, shot and a goal by Anderkin. And was that a beautiful goal? Iozo to Anderkin. And for Anderkin, it's his 17th goal of the year and 2nd of the tournament.
Oh, it was a nice give and go to start out in the neutral zone. Anderkin come out with the puck. He let it out of the zone and in a nice soft pass to Iozo. Here he puts it back over to Anderkin, so they really shared the puck all the way up the rink. Here it comes. Nice move. Iozo slips it across. Anderkin reaches out, stays with it, puts it up on top. That was a pretty play. That was about a 100-foot play. Reaches out, stays with it, and puts it upstairs.
Is there any doubt why they were very high in scoring?
No, they play well. You know, they've had so many good opportunities today, and now they finally capitalized here with a big one. It looks like this game might be put away. But it was a pretty play. Started out of their own end. They didn't throw the puck. Anderkin was smart. He topped his own circle. He held it and laid a soft pass out to Iozo, who carried the blue line, beat the one defenseman out near the blue line, and carried it in and laid a nice pass over, and it went in the net.
1 minute and 1 second remaining. Well, you talk about north-south in the friendly rivalry. They're going to get the consolation trophy, and it looks like the third-place trophy. But the championship is going to be decided by a couple of teams here in the greater Minneapolis-St. Paul area.
It means they both won 2 games. Rosso has won 2 games, and if Hibbing continues here, they'll have won 2 games. That's 2 out of 3, and that's pretty doggone good.
And you want to pick a favorite in tonight's game, Doug?
No, I've got one friend left, and I'm going to keep it.
Kennedy against Edina tonight in the championship game.
Well, goaltenders are going to be so important. Things are going to happen. I'm sure there'll be some up and down play. You'll see a lot of nice plays made.
Iozo getting one of the assists on the goal. That would be his 30th of the year. And Hansen an assist his 21st of the season as well. Is Anderkin coming up, the senior left winger, with his 17th goal of the year.
I think you have to, if Johnson does lose this game, you got to credit Mr. Magnuson for playing all his players. He's gone with everybody he's had on the roster. They've given all a chance to play. They performed well. I think Hibbing just was a little deeper and maybe a little more solid on defense overall.
Doug, that has to be a tough position that Rod was in. DeRose in the first game in the quarterfinals was outstanding, but yet he came back with Dembowski in the second game. And he said, we've been going with that rotation all year, but boy, you're really leaving yourself open to the people that like to second guess you or Sunday morning quarterback or whatever?
Well, remember we talked to him Wednesday, and he said no matter what happens.
Yeah.
What happens if you beat Hill Murray? Will you stay? He said, no, we've been doing this. We traded through the sectionals. He deserves a chance to play. They've both been good goaltenders for us, and I think that's great. And neither one of the goaltenders have been the reason they've lost any games.
AP and UPI both unanimously had said the Blue Jackets were #1 coming into this tournament. They are 22-2-1 on the year.
They've had a good combination game today. The defense has been solid. Other than Dewey Wallen's breakaway, which is a great pass by Olander, they have not allowed a 2-on-1 break.
However, there's still a minute left, and we've had stranger things happen. But it does look good for the Blue Jackets here. And going back over is Berthium to pick it up, trying it on the clearing pass. Knocked down at center ice now with 45 seconds remaining in regulation time. Coming in over the line, SD with a shot, and it's knocked down, and Larson tried to clear it. And the puck is loose in the corner on the far side. Berthium with it, as Hibbing well on their way to their 23rd win of the year against only 2 losses and 1 tie. And we now have 30 seconds remaining, and it's played along the boards on the near side. St. Paul Johnson would finish the year at 23-5, and that is Bryan. As you see the countdown coming up right there, 18-17, 5-3 the score, and it's played back down in the corner on the near boards, and now from 10 the countdown. It is the Blue Jackets of Hibbing. They're going to pick up 3rd place here. There's a shot. Oh, and it hit the pipe as it was taken by Gozic, and it's over.
And Hibbing is happy. They're over to congratulate O'Hara, who did a great job for him. Sticks are high, arms are in the air. Celebration time in Hibbing.
As the Blue Jackets finish the year representing the Iron Range Conference, and they wind up 23-2-1. As you see the celebration now out of the ice, and there is their coach, Bill Olson. It is 2nd year, and he has a very good record for 2 seasons with the Blue Jackets. On the other hand, St. Paul Johnson, the Governors, finished their season having won 23 games, but losing 5. But still, to be considered in the top 4 teams in the state of Minnesota is still a pretty good honor.
Oh, they all deserve a lot of credit. The schools, the athletic directors, the coaches, enthusiastic bands, the cheerleaders, the moms and dads, and everybody. It was a cleanly played game, like all of the games have been. I think Hibbing just had a little bit too much in the defense. They were just too capable of moving the puck up the rink and supporting their forwards, and they played an outstanding game. Actually, Hibbing had 3 solid periods of hockey today.
And that big save we keep going back to there, when it was a situation where the deficit could have really been put in a precarious situation, but O'Hara came up with the great reaction save.
Yes, at 4-3, and Hibbing had dominated most of the game, I think, realistically, and it could have been tied late in the game, and then emotion sets in for Johnson, so it could have been turned around at that point. I think that's a real critical play in the game, Paul.
So Hibbing getting goals today. Just to recap it, Gaustad got his 5th of the year. Iozo got his 26th of the year. Rolt got his 14th of the year. Zezel got his 18th of the year. And Andrikin got his 2nd goal of the tournament and 17th of the year. Dewey Wallen picked up 2. He finished with 3 in the tournament, 55 goals on the year. And Cermak also picked up a goal for St. Paul Johnson. For him, it was his 17th goal of the year.
Hibbing should be proud. You'll see the smiles when they give that trophy out. It's interesting. It isn't, I know years back it was tough to even go into the 3rd place game. You can see the exuberance today. They know how hard it is to get here and how hard it is to beat these teams.
And we're going to have the presentation of the medals and the awarding of the trophy coming up here momentarily, but we should remind you that there's a shot of them right there, and there is something that the young men can keep the rest of their lives and have it with pride. So we thank you for joining us for this game. Doug Woog and Paul Brown, let's go down to the public address announcer.
8th place teams. Medals are awarded to each member of the official squads of the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place teams, and trophies are presented to the championship team, the 2nd place team, the 3rd place, and the winner of the consolation game. Now, would the captains of the St. Paul Johnson team please come forward to receive their plaque. Medals are awarded to the 3rd place team members along with a team trophy. First, The presenters will present medals to each member of the Hibbing team. Starting with John Hajduk. Tom Hansen. Antonio Catani. Pat Iozzo. Mike Vidmar. John Zezel. Nick Andricken. Jeff Clausiu. Pat Gozich. Richie Bryant. Sean Gostad. Jerry Christoph. Bo Nikoloff. Pat Marolt. Kelly Espy. Paul Girardi. Mike Grillo. Mark Kasner. John Schwartz. Tim O'Hara. Student manager Jeff Wiseman. And student manager Mike Bukovich. Would the captains of the winning Hibbing team please come forward now to receive the third place trophy. That concludes the award ceremony for this afternoon. This evening's championship game begins at 7:30.
So there you see the Hibbing Blue Jackets waltzing off with the third place hardware, a 5-3 win over St. Paul Johnson today. And we would like to thank Paul Brown and Doug Woog for their outstanding comments on today's game. And thanks a lot, guys, up in the booth.
Nice to be with you again this year, Ralph and Mark, and thank you very much.
Always a pleasure, you guys. You did an exceptional job, Doug. I know you educated all of us on the finer points of the game, and it's a pleasure to be around someone who knows so much about the game.
Thank you.
Paul Brown and Doug Woog. We'd like to remind you that we are live from the St. Paul Civic Center. This is continuing coverage of the Minnesota State High School Hockey Tournament.